Hey everybody, it's Greg again. It's another edition of Unbreakable the podcast. It is Thursday, January 15th, halfway through January. I can't wait to get through January. It's the longest, most dreary, cold, dark, dismal month. February goes fast. Only 28 days. Then we're into March. It's springtime. We change the clocks and we're looking at a lot of nice weather ahead. Baseball, playoffs, basketball, hockey, the football draft, the Kentucky Derby, the Indianapolis 500. There's all kinds of things if you're a sports fan coming up. All right, so we won't talk about the suit. We're not going to talk. Anyway, but we are going to talk a lot of sports today. But before we do that, today is birthday. Actually, the real birthday of Martin Luther King Jr. They celebrate his birthday now. We celebrate it the third Monday of every January. So that's this coming Monday. But his real actual birthday is today, the 15th of January. Happy birthday, Dr. King. Now, today is actually Strawberry Ice Cream Day. Ooh, it's one of my favorites. But you gotta get the real, like the Breyers ice cream. You gotta get the ones that have the real chunks of strawberries in them. Oh, it's the best because you're going in there with your spoon and you got the strawberry ice cream. And then all of a sudden you hit the motherboard. You hit like a chunk of strawberry. Yeah, doesn't taste good. You gotta get yourself some strawberry ice cream today because today's the day to do it. All right, so a little self-promotion before we start talking sports. My book is still available, Stronger Than Moon. It just came out 2 months ago, and it's doing very well. The audio book of Stronger Than Moon is coming out mid-February. I'll let you know exactly when. I'm looking forward to that too, because the guy who's reading it is great. God, he's got such 1,000 times better voice than I. He is great. So I can't wait to hear it myself. Also, short stories coming out. There's one called The Phone in the Park that's coming out February the 9th. And another one called Crossroads is coming out in mid-February. And then there's another one coming out in March the 1st, one in June, and it's great. A lot of short stories. It keeps me busy, and I'm hoping to get a collection together so I can have a little book of short stories for you to enjoy. And thank God, they're being published in magazines and so. So I'll be putting up the links so you can read each short story for free on my Facebook account next as they occur. Now, we got to talk sports. And how about, well, let's start with a little sad news. It's actually sad, but it's happy too. Ranger Suarez, one of my favorite Phillies, is signing with the Boston Red Sox. Rangers is going to be a happy and rich man, $130 million, for which he deserves. You know, the Phillies signed him for like $25,000 back in the day. And he comes from a hardworking family, and his father was a farmer, dad in Venezuela. And I tell you what, he deserves it. Ranger Suarez, I'm going to miss him because he was like a surgical man. He didn't throw hard, but he was surgical. Through strikes, you had to set up a hitter. A tremendous fielder. He should have won the Gold Glove many years with the Phillies. He was just, he didn't complain, do anything he asked him to do. Starter, reliever. Don't forget, the year the Phillies went to the World Series last, when they beat the Padres in the Bedlam at the Bank game, Ranger was the guy who closed out that victory 2-pitch save. And it just he'll do anything you want. He pitched long relief in the bullpen for years, the starter. Ranger Suarez. I wanted the Phillies to re-sign him. Ranger wanted to come out with the Phillies. Phillies didn't want him for whatever reason. So he is going to pitch for Boston. I tell you one thing. Ranger comes back to Citizens Bank Park either next year or in the World Series this year. I would not boo him. And anybody who boos Ranger Suarez is a jerk, because he gave his all for this Phillies team and he didn't want to leave. So I would cheer him and say, best of luck to you, Ranger. And what else? Kevin Petula got fired. Well, we kind of see that coming late. Somebody has to take the fall, and Nick Sirianni's not going to do it. You knew they're going to fire Sirianni. He just won the Super Bowl next year. Petula, it's not the main problem with this team. This team has a lot of issues, but he was an issue. Because think of it this way. With all the weapons this team has, Jalen Hurts, the 2 wide receivers, the tight end, Saquon Barkley, they should be scoring more than 19 points in a playoff game. Come on. This team should have an elite down the field offense. But these wide receivers, Devontae Smith and AJ Brown should be catching like 8 passes apiece every game, over 100 yards. That they should be doing a lot better than what they were. So maybe they need a fresh perspective to come in, look at this whole offense through a different lens, so to speak, and be a little inventive. You saw the teams coming in to play us who had trick plays that worked most of the time, and they used their offensive weapons to the max. The Eagles didn't seem to do that. They seemed to keep everything very simple. Now was that the offensive coordinator, or is it the quarterback? We're going to find out. That's the thing about replacing Kevin Petula. We're going to find out, is Jalen Hurts the problem? Well, we'll see. Actually, Petula may not lead the Eagles organization. There is talk of giving him another job in the organization, because he is a friend of Nick Sirianni. You didn't have to see anybody lose their job, but he just was not a good offensive coordinator. So this is the fifth offensive coordinator this team has had in 5 years. So let's hope they hit on a good guy. Now, I think they got to find someone with experience this time. They got to find a proven guy who is an offensive-minded coach. And there's plenty around. They got to, I think it was a good thing they let go Petula when they did, because a lot of these other guys were finding jobs. And before they all get snatched up, the Eagles have an opportunity at least to look around and get somebody else the offensive coordinator. So I think it's a good thing. I think it was meant to happen, because even if it's not Kevin Petula's fault altogether, he's going to get blamed. I mean, something goes wrong, and when the season starts next year, Kevin Petula. So now there are no excuses. Now this offense needs to show up. Jalen Hurts needs to play better. Barkley said he came into this season with no expectations for himself. He was like, oh, I could never get 2,000 yards again, blah, blah, blah. Why not? And he said that was a mistake. Now, if you don't have self-confidence, if you don't have confidence in yourself, who else is going to have confidence in you? It's like anything else in life. You have to have confidence in yourself. But for some strange reason, Saquon Barkley admitted he did not have enough confidence in his own abilities coming into this season. So let's hope everybody gets their head straight. AJ Brown, I've been thinking about him. I think the Eagles need to keep him. Number one, if they release him, that there's a lot of dead money there. A lot of dead money they're going to have to eat. I think AJ Brown deserves another chance. If it was just some Joe Schmo who really wasn't good, you wouldn't worry about trading his ass or cutting him. But AJ Brown he's a stud, he's an animal. He may be a head case, but so is T.O. But I think, you gotta handle him with kid gloves, yes. But I think he's worth it. He's that talent. He gives you that home run option. Like I said, with Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert, that's a trio and other teams need to fear. And I just thought this Eagle offense this year did not take advantage of their full potential. So let's give A.J. Brown another chance with a different offensive coordinator. Let's kind of make him the focal point of the offense. I've said it before. A.J. Brown should get at least 10 to 15 targets every game because all it takes is one, and he's going to break loose and go for 70 touchdowns. You got to give the guy a chance. All right, he dropped 3 balls last week in a big playoff game. We know that. But maybe A.J. Brown may be a redemption year season. Maybe we'll get the best of A.J. Brown next year. So, unless he's a real pain in the butt throughout the off season and in the training camp, at which case you got to trade when you get something for him. Otherwise, I would consider keeping. Again, who do you have otherwise? You got Devontae Smith in it. You've got a bunch of nobodies as depth at wide receiver. You don't have Dotson. He didn't live up to his potential. They got him from Washington. He's a disappointment. Until the Eagles find some other wide receivers through the draft or through trades, they gotta hang on to each other. And they've got to put up with this nonsense sometimes. They knew what they were getting when they made that trade with Tennessee. Speaking of coaches, how about that John Harbaugh going to the Giants? Well, $100 million. I mean, they're shelling it out for this guy. We got to give the Giants credit. They finally found a win. Now, if anybody could turn that team around, that organization, it would be one of the Harbaugh players. Obviously, he sees some potential in the Giants, and I do too. I mean, it looks like they found a future quarterback in Jackson Dart. They do have a good defense. They have some weapons on defense. Still going to need a lot of work, especially building up that offensive line. But there is some potential there with the Giants. There is. I mean, give the Giants another year or two. They could be the Eagles' main competition in the NFC East. Forget about the Cowboys. Forget about the Commanders. The Giants may be a team that the Eagles are going to have to worry about down the road, especially now that you're going to have Harbaugh coaching that team. So that's all right. It's always good to have a good rival, and I always thought the Giants were a natural rival. They're already 90 minutes up the turnpike. There's a long history of Eagles-Giants games going way back to Chuck McNair and Frank Gifford. And so, I think it's good. I think it's good the Giants hopefully will build themselves up. And I think it's a good rivalry that we have with the Giants. So we'll continue to have. So that's interesting. Speaking of which, well, the NFL playoffs are this weekend. We got 2 games on Saturday. We got 2 games on Sunday. Now Buffalo's going into Denver, and Denver's just, the bye team, had the best record in the AFC. Hoity-toity Denver, The Broncos are back with their punk coach, Sean, whatever. I like Buffalo. I told you before. I'm rooting for Buffalo now. Why? Because Buffalo deserves to get into the Super Bowl. They've never won a Super Bowl. Those fans, the Bills Mafia, a hardy bunch. They're up there taking their shirts off, and it's -2 degrees. It's snowing, and they pitch in to shovel at the stadium. And they jump on tables and they do all kinds of shit. I always said Eagles Bills Super Bowl would be wild because not only would you have a couple of great teams, but you'd have the fan bases clashing. Eagles fan base with that Buffalo fan base. Oh God. So I'm for the Bills. Plus, you can never count out Josh Allen. He is great. He will do anything it takes to win. He'll run the ball. He's got that rocket arm. And James Cook is his running back. He's got okay receiver, Shadir. I like Buffalo. And they may not be the best team left in the tournament, but I'm rooting for Buffalo. So I think they're going to go in with Denver and beat the Broncos on Saturday. And then you got the 49ers. We know the 49ers very well. They're like going to Seattle to play their rival Seattle Seahawks. And the Seahawks had a week off too, because they got the bye from having the best record in the NFC. Well, I'd be very surprised if the 49ers beat them. 49ers might give it a good game. Seattle just really kicked our butts a couple of weeks ago. They just totally shut the 49ers down. They did what the Eagles could not do. They shut down Christian McCaffrey, and he is the key to that San Francisco offense because he can run the ball, he can catch the ball, score touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey is the key. You're not going to have George Kittle. He tore his hamstring playing against the Eagles last week. That's a big loss because the Seahawks were terrible against Titans. So unfortunately, the 49ers are going to be able to take advantage of that. 49ers might give them a tough game, seeing how Seattle beat them a couple weeks ago. Division rivals. I just can't see 49ers going in there and winning. I think Seattle will eventually overcome the 49ers. I think it's the end of the road for San Francisco, Brock Purdy, and the rest of the gang. I think Seattle's going to win. And then we have Sunday. We've got the night game is the Rams at Chicago. Let's talk about that first. Rams just about escaped from Carolina this week. Big surprise. Everybody thought the Rams were going to go into Carolina and stomp on the Panthers. Not so. Panthers almost pulled that game out. Give the Panthers a lot of credit. Rams survived. Now they have to go into Chicago, where it's going to be freezing. Probably the coldest game in Matthew Stafford's career. And we know the Rams are a warm weather team. They play indoors. Look what happened last year when they played the Eagles in January. All that snow. Well, they're not calling for snow in Chicago on Sunday night, but it is supposed to be around 15 degrees. So is that going to bother Matthew Stafford? He hurt his pointer finger last week. And is that going to affect him? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. The Bears, to their credit, the Bears run the ball effectively. The Bears are like a Northeast team, like the Eagles team. They run the ball, and good, deep, solid defense, takeaways, they take the ball away, fumbles, interceptions. Um, and that's a great equalizer for the Bears. They may not have the best offense in the world, but their ability to take the ball away from the other team and give themselves short fields to play with is a big plus. So I don't know. I think the Rams are going to win that game, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears hung with it. I just think the Bears are going to try to make it a short game. If they use the running game effectively, they're going to try to keep Matthew Stafford off the field with those wide receivers, Puka and Devontae Adams. And I think the Bears are going to try to play the ball control game and try to shoot the game. Matthew Stafford, I think if he's on, he's going to have his. He's going to have his, but I just get this crazy feeling that the Bears are going to keep it close. So if I was a betting man, I'm going to have to take the Twins and the Bears. And then we have the final game, which is actually the first game on Sunday. We have the Houston Texans, who beat the Steelers Monday night. They just shut the Steelers down, did they? Limiting them to 6 points. I mean, this Houston team has a great defense. Well, they're going to play New England. Yes, New England is back. Even without Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, they're back. This Drake May, he's a hell of a quarterback. And it's going to be cold. And we know that's not Houston's game. But they went in Pittsburgh Monday night, and the cold didn't seem to bother them. You got to think, New England's so explosive, but Houston has a tough defense. I think that's going to be a war. I think Houston's going to play it closer than you think. And one might think New England would blow them out. I don't think so. I think Houston's going to play tough. If I was a betting man again, I might take the points in Houston because, again, Houston is like a Northeast team. Got that great defense, maybe the best defense in the NFL. Can run the ball too. I'd have to think about Houston. So that's our playoffs this weekend. If I had to take a prop bet this weekend, even though it's going to be cold, and even though the Bears are going to shorten the game and try to play ball control and keep Matthew Stafford off the field, I would still take Matthew Stafford to throw for at least 300 yards. There was this statistic I saw, something about the Rams are undefeated in the playoffs, and Matthew Stafford throws for at least 300 yards. So I'm looking at this one. If the Bears get out to the lead and they try to run the ball, Stafford's going to throw. And all it takes is one big play to Puka, and he's going to gain 70, 80 yards. And even if the Rams are winning, they're still going to throw the ball. It's their game. They have a good running game with Kyrie Williams, but the Rams love to throw the ball with Stafford. I just think he's going to get his. So I would take Matthew Stafford for 300 yards at least. All right, one more thing we're going to talk about before we go. Bo Bichette coming to the Phillies. I still think it's going to happen. Why? Because, they had a meeting Monday, the Phillies and Bichette, but it wasn't in person. It was a Zoom meeting. And apparently that meeting went it was more of a feeling out process. They didn't talk from what I understand, they didn't talk about contract, money, nothing. They were just seeing, is Bo interested in coming to Philly? Philly is interested in Bo. And it was a little get together. Did they have cookies and tea? I don't know. But apparently there was a mutual interest on its side. Now, I think the next time they meet, hopefully soon, they're going to get down to brass tacks and start talking about contracts and money. I think Bissett's going to come because his buddy, Don Mattingly, is now the new bench coach on the Phillies. And I just think Bichette was going to want to change the scene. I think he's going to see Philadelphia as I might be the piece that puts them over the hump, that finally gets them back to the World Series and they'll win the World Series. I think that's a challenge for Bichette. But on the Phillies side, I could see why they want him. Two-time hit champion, 27 years old. He'll bring youth, a lot of energy to the Phillies. He's a winner. He played very well in the World Series last year against the Dodgers. I could see now he's probably going to have to play second base because he doesn't have much of an arm, which means that Bryson Stott, if they keep him, is probably going to have to move third base. Surprised the Phillies haven't thought of the option of putting Bichette at first base and asking Bryce Harper to move back to right field. Now, it's not like you're forcing Harper back there. Harper has said, if you find another first baseman, I'll be glad to go back to right field. So why not take him up on it, right? You put Bichette at first base, you don't have to worry about who's in. Now, what happens to Alec Bohm? I think Alec Bohm is pretty much gone. I think so. I just think he's gone. I think the Phillies are going to move on from him. It is a shame. Alec Bohm was a homegrown company. It was really good. And everything last the RBIs. He'll get you 90, 100 RBIs. He's never going to hit a lot of home runs like the Phillies thought he would, but he's consistent. He's going to hit around 280, get his share of RBIs. Defensively, he's a lot better than what he used to be, but he's not. I don't think he's ever going to be an Gold Glove third baseman. But he's made himself into a better third baseman than what he was. So I think you could trade Bohm for some more pitching. Phillies definitely need a catcher. It looks like they're going to let JT move into the block. I'm surprised it hasn't been finalized already. I mean, from what I understand, there are no other suitors for JT. But he won't come off of his demands. He wants certain things. He wants 3 years. He wants a certain amount of money. And the Phillies just haven't didn't think he's worth it. He's 35 years old. His skills are declining. I mean, he's not going to be a full-time catcher anymore. You're going to have to play him at first base or designated hitter. He's still a hell of an athlete, though. But could he do the job? Yeah, he still could. But I could see why the Phillies are reluctant to shell out that kind of money from a guy who maybe was pro. That's all well enough and good, but the Phillies have to find another catcher. Maybe it's Ryan Jeffers from Minnesota. Maybe they can finagle Baldwin to trade Adley Rutschman. Rutschman's going to be a free agent at the end of next year. What is Baldwin doing? They have all these other catchers in their system. This Basillo guy is like their top prospect. He's a catcher. They just drafted a catcher last summer. I mean, what are they doing with all these catchers, right? You would think Baltimore would want to trade Rushford and get something for him before he walks away next year. But hey, we'll see what happens. Getting Dante Bichette, not only would give the Phillies an extra batting lineup. Think of that first 4: Turner, Harper, Bichette, Schwarber. Does any team in the Major League have a better top 4 than those guys? I don't think the Dodgers even have it, because you look at Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, who's kind of becoming a shell of himself, and then Teoscar Hernandez. We don't even know if he's going to be on the Dodgers this year. So the Phillies might have the top 4 of any team in baseball. So I think you gotta go get Bichette, because after this season, of course, you have the lockout moves next year. The free agent class next year and the year after that is not that good. You're going to have to wait another 3 years until you find a free agent class as good as the one we have this year. So I say go get Bichette. If you worry about Alec Bowen, Bryson Stott, and later, they are not the players that Bo Bichette is. You know, all that will work out. You go get Bo Bichette. Final thing, I hope they don't trade Adrian Miller. Saw on social media, a longtime Phillies PR man, Larry Shank, made a great suggestion. He suggests that the Phillies put Adrian Miller under their top prospects, big-time power guy, can steal 50 bases, hell of an athlete. Put him in left field. Put him in left field during spring training. Let him play left field down in AAA for half of the season. He could do it. We've had worse outfielders before. We've had Luzinski, Big Cavili, Pat Burrell. All those guys weren't nearly as athletic as Adrian Miller is. You play Adrian Miller half a season at AAA, you bring him up in July. He can platoon with Brandon Marsh in left field. And eventually, Miller will take over left field. And you've got enough fielder in the future. I would not, Dave Dombrowski, don't do it. Don't do it, Dave. Do not trade Adrian Miller. He is a power guy. He can steal bases. He is the turning the page. Harper's not getting any younger. Neither is Turner. And you've got to get some youth on the team. So you have some young good, but because of the salary situation, you can't afford to pay all your level guys $30 million a year. So that was a great suggestion by Larry Schick. Start the weed, Adrian Miller in left field. Bryson Stott, play him at third base. He's a great defensive player. He's a natural shortstop. He went to second base, and he's a Gold Glove caliber second baseman. Now, if you got to move him, put him into third base. I'm sure he's going to play very well at third base. And you hope that he rebounds hitting too. But I would keep Bryson Stott, move him to third base, plug in Bo Bichette at second base. And there you go. Go Phillies. World Series bound this year. There you go. All right, everybody. Well, thanks a lot for listening and watching. Peace and love. I'll be back again sometime soon. We'll talk more NFL playoffs, whatever else is going on in the world, and we'll have a lot of fun. Thanks a lot for listening. I'll talk to you then. Take care. Peace and love. Bye.